Hello, this is Satoshi and this is Sashiko Live Streaming. Today is 19th of June and Friday. So every Friday in the morning at 9 o'clock, about 9 a.m. I do the live streaming. And today I'm working on a small piece of fabric to make a coasters. It's kind of rare project that I do. I usually make a lot of like big stuff, but today is the smaller version. I welcome the questions if it's about the Japanese Sashiko culture, history, blah. The other things, I'm very much happy to answer that. If it's about technique, I might not answer that because I have either already explained it on YouTube and to make everybody fair, to be fair with everybody else. All right. Now I will start doing this. Is this okay? Hello, hello, hello. So, in short, as a summary, like your comments are very appreciated. Like if you have any comments, if you leave the comments, I can develop the stories that I tell here based on the comments. So I can talk more if there's the request or comment, so that'd be great to have that. Leo? Here, I'm here. What's going on? I'm stitching in front of the camera.
Oh.
I'm here. What's going on?
I think I just wanted.
You just wanted to what?
Mommy's belly hurt.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Where can I see my hand?
You can just put it here. Ding. Ready? Mommy's belly hurts. Are you ready to stitch? Can you wanna try?
Wait, what? You're so.
I know that's your hand. It's so fun, right? Just don't touch it. Don't touch the mouse. You wanna just show your hand again? It has to be here. Yeah, there we go. Sorry, this is the stay-at-home father. Do you have any stories you wanna tell?
Wait,
Heh.
can I hear my voice through there?
Yeah, they can hear your voice too. I know you don't like those things. That's what I'm saying. What's going on? What happened?
I cut myself.
Oh yay. Are you okay? Okay. Sorry about that. It's good that. Oh, it's another. It's the reason I cannot do the live streaming on Tuesday and Friday. I used to do it on every Tuesday and Friday, much longer time, but now I cannot do it because this is the kind of rare time for my wife to watch the daughter. She is very shy, so she doesn't even like to be heard. That's why probably she didn't even say hello. I can relate. I can really relate to that. So I mean, she's my daughter after all, so I really can relate to not to be in front of the people. So I'm not gonna force her to be there. I think it is the happiness. I mean, it is the happiness that I can spend a lot of time with my daughter. It is pretty frustrating that nothing can be done in the speed that I really wish. Like almost, like only 10% of what I wanted to do is completed in this homeschooling period. Probably less than 10%. So it is really difficult. And especially since the demand is increasing, I want to do more, I want to offer more, but simply I don't have time for that. So, and I don't want to sacrifice somebody's well-being to do it. So, I mean, for that matter, thank you very much for being patient. I am not as quick or fast as I wish to be, or the other big companies, because I simply can't. I'm the only one person in the business in the US, so. But I really appreciate. I try to make everything super fast in terms of the orders, because that's what the people who makes order can ask for. Quick delivery is something I can do to make it easier for everybody, but everything else is kind of slow. Like enriching the content is very much behind. Introducing new thread, introducing new fabric, introducing something new is very, very, very much behind. So, well. Whoa, Leo. Hi, recently found out about your channel after trying to do some research on traditional Japanese garment technique, namely Sashiko stitching, because of the brand Capital. Yeah, Capital. Capital is very famous brand in this field, I guess. Sorry that the reason I said wow is that my daughter's name is Leona, and we call her Leo, so it was a little bit surprising. What, Leo? Not sure if you've answered it before, but what are your thoughts on the brand? Like, that's a very good question. Thank you so much for asking that. I will answer that question. As a fundamental idea of how I think about those brand, or even like anybody who makes money or makes a big branding out of the word Sashiko or borrow, there's one fundamental point of my feeling. It's my feeling. As long as they try to understand the Japanese word of Sashiko and borrow, I am perfectly fine with that. So if they don't have to understand perfectly, because I don't understand Sashiko and borrow perfectly, but if they try to understand the word Sashiko and borrow in the capability of, how can I say, at their best, if they are trying to respect that Japanese culture behind it, I am very much fine with that. In fact, I am very much willing to work with them if that's what they want. I mean, I cannot do a lot of things. So, Capital is one of the company that I enjoy to watch it, admire. I don't have any relationship with the Capital, but I do have a relationship with the vintage fabric dealer, which has a good relationship with the Capital. So it's very small world. It's very small world. So yes, that's what I thought, Lily-san. That's what I thought. I thought she would worry, like if she was here. So like what? Anyway, so it is a very small world, and we kind of supplement each other. Supplement? We fulfill each other. So as long as the person is trying to respect the Japanese word and culture and story behind it, which capital does, as long as I know, I am very much fine with that. And, like, there's no problem. I'm really okay with it. So people can make Boro, people can make Sashiko, and they can do whatever they want. The only exception is those who say that they don't care. You may be surprised, but there are those people there. So I keep saying Sashiko is not the specific pattern. So there are companies who say that this is Sashiko bed cover without any stitching. Those people think that the Sashiko is just simply the pattern. They're too big to even make a research about those things, so that's one thing I kind of so if it's not stitched, it's not Sashiko, because the Sashiko is not the name for the pattern. Each pattern has its own name, so there's no such a thing as Sashiko pattern printed bed cover or cushion. It's just different. The other thing is there's two kinds of Sashiko for that matter. I should have somewhere. I don't have sample right now with me, but when you go online and find some Sashiko jacket, less than, let's say, $500. Many companies, not many, but some companies make Sashiko jacket with the Sashiko fabric, which is not actually hand stitched. So the difference is that there is a big industry, like this is also well known and well respected. It should be respected. This big industry, so-called woven Sashiko. So before Industrial Revolution, many people did the hand stitching as I'm doing right now, and they made the fabric with Sashiko stitching. After the Industrial Revolution, many people wanted to have the same kind of Sashiko fabric with the stitches and also durability. They wanted to have something strong. They spent a lot of time, a lot of effort to make one industry called woven Sashiko. So that might be part of Sashiko culture, but they even have the name for Sashiko Ori, which is woven Sashiko. So I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea to mix them up too. So when somebody is using the woven Sashiko as the hand stitching, if they're using the woven Sashiko as the Sashiko fabric, as the woven Sashiko fabric, I have no problem, and it's perfectly fine. But if they're saying that it's hand stitched, then that's a kind of wrongful information to market. So that's one thing I kind of worry about. But besides that, we even have a collaboration with some specific apparel brand, which we cannot collaborate with somebody with a mass production because we cannot simply make a lot of those. But if for those who make only one of the kind, we did collaborate it before. So to answer your question, I am very much fine with that. Again, my intention is not to exclude the others. I don't want to exclude the others because I am the, traditional Sashiko stitcher. That's not my intention. My intention is to actually opposite. I want to make Sashiko more available to everybody else. So if they want to make Sashiko as their brand or their business, I'm very much okay with it. I just want to make sure that what they do is not gonna repaint the Sashiko culture. That's pretty much it. That's really pretty much it. Yeah. So I'm sorry, that was a long answer, but the long story short, I am okay with the Capital or the other brand which use Sashiko or Boro for their marketing tools or appeals, as long as they try to understand what Sashiko is and Boro is. I mean, that's fair enough, I guess. I think that's fair, right? Yep, that's probably I answered your question, I guess. There are a lot of people. There are many kinds of people who. How can I say that? Two kinds of people who intentionally use Sashiko for the marketing tool, and who intentionally use the Sashiko for the marketing tool. Those two people, and both of them are not, wrong. But in this world, because of the SNS and internet, I think using one term wrongfully, intentionally, is also a bad idea in terms of marketing, because they could lose their validity, their integrity, or not integrity, sincere. Like, how do you say that? Pure? Nah. Well, they, by marketing something they don't know, they are saying that they are ignorant. So it's not a good idea for them to market something without proper information in this world, because everybody is smart. Everybody can Google. Everybody can learn from that. It's not like the 80s or 70s with that magazine or publication was everything. So I just want everybody to not to repaint what I'm doing right now. Interestingly, there are stories on every single things we have left. Like, why blue and white? Many people think that's beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful, but that's not only beautiful. There's a stories behind that. The reason why I use this needle, there's a reason why I use this thread, why this thimble. I mean, I probably said that thimble, needle, thread. So those culture or tradition, I don't even consider Sashiko as a tradition that much, but the tradition has its reason to be tradition, or left or preserved as is. Sometimes the freedom of choice, freedom of art, freedom of expression. I am a big believer of those freedoms, but the freedom can happen based on the respect, or at least some basic. Picasso can be Picasso because he draws so many standard painting. As long as I know, I'm not a big, I'm not educated for that. Free jazz can be a free jazz, which sounds like completely like a piece of noise, because masters such as John Coltrane wanted to do something outside of the standard jazz after they learned the standard jazz. That's the same thing. Like, anybody can use any word, but I want them to know before they teach or before they. That's it. I don't want people to say that Sashiko is about technique, or not. Sashiko is about the patterns, and Boro is the word for the technique. Those are not correct information. So I just want to make sure that the people have enough information to know what it is, because that's our responsibility to share as well. It is really, really true that there's not that many information in English or non-Japanese about Sashiko available, and there's a reason that there's not that many information available. even in Japanese, there's not much information available. There's a reason for that. There's a big reason, significant, understandable reason that we don't have that much information left. But that doesn't mean that it is. Being silent doesn't mean that it did not exist. It existed, but they kept it quiet for several reasons. So I just want to make sure that somebody is standing up. And I didn't want to stand up, but I guess I'm the qualified one for that. And I couldn't just take it. I was okay until last year, around this time. I was very much sharing everything for free, and I kept saying like, "What? Do whatever you want. There's no such a thing as right and wrong in Sashiko. You can do whatever you want," which I am in the same belief. But there's only one difference, is that I want them to care for what the Sashiko is for the Japanese people like us. Hello from Italy. Hello. I highly appreciate you teaching. Oh, my respect. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that I can do this in the internet. I mean, it's not a good or bad. It's just simply about knowing. So I hope I communicate enough that I don't judge the others. I just ask for the others to learn, I guess. Learn is the word for that. It is perfectly fine to once say that I mean, I'm not asking everybody to follow the technique I'm doing or posture. I just don't want them to use how can I say it? I just don't want them to use unskillful as the excuse to not to learn. So that's about it. Thank you. Thank you so much for saying that, but give me some time, okay? Because I don't consider myself teacher yet. I know I'm teaching. I'm very much teaching, so I should be able to consider myself a teacher, but teacher in Japanese is very strong. Probably it's a different definition in English, but therefore I feel a little when somebody call me teacher. And I say that in every single workshop that I don't consider myself as a teacher, so just give me some time to get it to be okay with that. So this is about 1 hour and 15 minutes. So some people say that Sashiko is a slow stitch. It is very much a slow stitch. In comparison to the machine stitch, it's super slow. But I don't want them to focus on just the slowness, because if one gets skillful, it can be faster. And I believe that Japanese also wanted to be more skillful, more faster in many ways. So slow is a good word to slow down, but don't be proud of slowness. I hope it makes sense too. Slowing down is very important in this life. We need to be slow. We need to slow ourselves down. But being proud, or how can I say that? Being okay with the slowness is a little bit different from the slowing down. So I hope that makes sense too. So many people said, well, I cannot stitch that fast, you're so fast, the speed is not important for me. That's very good. I understand that. But at the same time, I want them to say that after trying it. I think anybody can be. I don't even think. I know. I'm pretty much 100% sure that anybody can stitch as much as I do if they continue stitching with the right posture, or the appropriate posture. 3 years ago, that was more like hopeful comments. I wish they could do that. I think you can do that. I hope you can do that. After offering the workshop for 2 years, Like, some of them are just beyond my expectation. I mean, they're super good. So the the reason I'm kind of defining myself as a good teacher recently is that um, there's this Japanese saying: a good teacher is those who make his or her students better than the teacher is, and it is happening. Like, it is, it is so kind of sad for that matter. But I don't stitch as much as I should like to. Like, I don't stitch 3 hours per day. I stitch only, not that much. So those who stitches more than like 3 hours per day for like years, they are so good that I feel jealous. Oh, their result is so beautiful. They're stitching so fast, and I'm happy and jealous at the same time. But I think it's a good thing. That's how we can leave Sashiko behind. I really appreciate the comments very much. Thank you so much. And the question is always appreciated. By the way, this is a little bit technical question, but this the way sorry. You can learn how to draw Asanoho pattern like this on my YouTube video. It should say that how to draw Asanoho patterns. Once you get it, super easy. And right now, as of now, many enjoy Sashiko as with the cat or set, the fabric pattern pre-printed. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, and it is a good way to start enjoying Sashiko. But at the same time, that's kind of the end of a project. So you get the set, you stitch the fabric, the pattern printed, and then what? That's the end of project, right? I want you to learn more than that. So if you know how to transfer the pattern on the fabric, or how to draw the pattern on the fabric by yourself, you can do it on anything. You can do it on your denim, you can do it on your, like, anything. You can make any, like, I'm making a coaster out of this right now, and I will hopefully make tutorials on YouTube with editing this video. But the Sashiko was merely a stitching habit for those who needed to stitch, so they did not have a kit. I mean, they didn't have a luxury to have a kit, for that matter. So I wanted to just learn how to draw those patterns, and it's kind of, it looks quite complicated, and it is probably complicated for the first time, but once you learn that, it's super easy. You are a teacher since no one teaches this stitch process how it should be. It is. It's funny. It is very true. But can I answer your question for that? Hello. So I am a teacher since no one teaches the stitches process how it should be, right? That is very true statement. But there's a reason, there's a story why no one else is teaching the way I teach. Because nobody else thought that was the teacher thing. That was something we should teach. Like, none of them. That's why nobody, like, I didn't even think that. When I got an offer from New York, one organization from New York to teach Sashiko, my first reaction is, what to teach? Like, it's just this hand stitching. What do I teach for 3 hours? Like, what do I have to teach? That's the origin, that's the beginning. But many other Japanese like me felt that what to teach in Sashiko. I still feel like that, so that's why the live streaming is very important for me to realizing what is the information I should be summarizing. like, how to prepare the fabric, how to prepare the job, like those geometric patterns, what kind of thread we should use, or what kind of needle. Those information is not about Sashiko. It's related to Sashiko, but it's not Sashiko at all. So that's why, I introduced that for free, because that's not my information. That's public wisdom. So everybody should get it for free. Sashiko is so ordinary, so normal for us that we didn't even think of teaching. Well, that's another reason that Sashiko is not well passed down. Everybody could do that, so nobody wanted to teach. Nobody felt that they should be teaching. And that doesn't, that's not limiting to the Japanese who only speaks English, or who speaks both English and Japanese. It is also, Sashiko is also a culture which got discontinued. Japanese decided not to continue Sashiko about 50 years ago, I guess, like right after the World War II. Probably right. Well, I'm sorry, not around that time. Probably a lot before that. Our ancestors decided to discontinue Sashiko as the culture because they started getting rich or wealthier. The reason we still have Sashiko alive is that there are people who try to revive that culture. So in both ways, there's stories behind it. For those who decided not to continue Sashiko, and for those who decided to revive the Sashiko. And it happened pretty much everywhere in Japan, including my hometown. So the process of discontinuing it and process of reviving it happened many area. That's why I keep saying there's not such a thing as the right and wrong in Sashiko. But at the same time, there are a lot of places, there are many areas that who couldn't revive Sashiko. So millions of cities, millions of villages that could not revive Sashiko, I guess. That's very unfortunate. But I believe there are such a things like that. Am I based in Japan? I am not. I live in I live in the Pennsylvania, USA right now, but my mother is in Japan. This channel and this project is a project of our mother and son duo. So as of now, I live in the US. And I don't know how long I should be living here because of the COVID. Okay, wow, time flies so fast. I have only 10 more minutes left today. I have to be a little bit ready before 10. If you have any questions, please let me know. I hope I can come back next Friday again. I was expecting to finish it, but not 2 hours. I really appreciate everybody watching this because you care. You care about Sashiko. If you don't really care about it, you wouldn't be watching this. So I really appreciate that. For a complete biggie, probably that's the. That's the in the middle of writing. Whew. Thank you, Angela. For a complete beginner, would it be better to take your workshop or try learn watching your live stream? It really depends on the budget. if you can take the workshop, I would probably, well, I will, of course, recommend my workshop, because in those 3 hours or 3 or 4 hours of videos, I kind of put everything in one essence, and the workshop students kind of play with what I teach, with actually practicing it. It will be very uncomfortable for the first few hours. I will say that it's going to be very uncomfortable. It's not going to be comfortable. Many want to just drop off. I don't let you do that, but many people want to just give up because it's so different, especially for those who have a lot of experience in the other hand stitching, like hand embroidery. Since it is very different, many wants to kind of feel uncomfortable, many wants to kind of give up. But the workshop gives you a lot of reason to not to give up based on my experience. I know that how people get into trouble in the process of learning this stitching called unshin. At the same time, it is possible. It is possible, and there are many, not many. I know 1, 2, 3. I can think of 3 people who is doing such a great job without taking my workshop, and I think they kept watching live streaming, but they thank me for offering the live streaming and YouTube videos, and they didn't take my workshop, and I think they're doing such a great job. So you can, but I think they're stitching more than a year or so. So it is like, if you don't mind making a detour like this to get to the goal, I think live streaming is good, and my YouTube videos are good for that. But if you want to go to the destination, your goal straight, the workshop is going to be a great investment to save some money. If you go to detour like that, you may not be there. You may not go to let's say you're here and this is the goal. Making a detour might end you up somewhere here, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. But if this is the goal, the ideal way is probably straight. My workshop is gonna navigate. My workshop is like a navigator or like a GPS that you can go to this place straightforward. The traditional Japanese way of learning is just by watching it. That's gonna probably make a lot of detour like this. You might get here after a few years, 10 years. In Japanese culture, it's gonna be 20 years. That's what they say. Like, you have to do the one things for 20 years, and then you're gonna be a master, or like you're gonna be not a master. You're gonna be decent. But I don't, as much as I respect that the Japanese culture of learning by looking, it is kind of inefficient, and I don't think anybody should devote their whole life into one culture in 2020. So that's why I made a workshop to give the simpler way to do that. Sorry about that. Hello from Napa. I lived in Japan for 40 years when my dad was stationed. I love things Japanese. We lived there. That's awesome. 70s? Wow. 70s Japan should be so good. 70s Japan, wow, that's so good. I was not there when 70s, but thinking back of my childhood, the 70s and 80s in Japan was so good, I guess. Thank you so much for coming. So yeah, I'm sorry for Angel. I'm sorry for not answering the specific answer for the Angel, but I hope it makes sense. And long story short, yes, I want you to take the workshop so I can care more. I can support, like I really support. If you have any questions, you just, email me and I'll probably email you back within a few hours, or probably within 20 minutes, or at latest few days. Many people who took the workshop is pretty happy with what they can do, so. One more thing, I'm sorry. Sometimes one thing I would say, like disadvantage of studying by yourself is that possibly I may have to uninstall some of the habit that you learned by accident. And since the rhythm I'm talking about is very much habitat things, it's very much a habit, like practice. So uninstalling might be a little bit trouble when it comes to that. So that's another reason I made a workshop, because I don't want them to kind of install something I did not intend to make. Anyway, it's 9:45, so I have to go soon, and the thread is off. This is, as you know, this is the favorite, well-known pattern, so-called Asanoha. I will cut this one into like this, using this guide. I will cut into the 4 pieces, and then I'll make a coasters. I couldn't think of that word. The coasters. 4 inches square, I hope. Yes, it's gonna be 4 inch square ish. 4 inches square ish. Alright, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you. I hope I can see you next week. Please leave the comment. I do read your comments a lot. Not a lot. I do read your comments thoroughly. I just don't have time to reply to every comment. But when I receive a comment with a specific request, I can talk about it in a live session. So please do not hesitate to write or leave the comments. Otherwise, I will see you next week. Thank you so much and have a good weekend. ありがとうございました。今日も2つのライブ配信ありがとうございました。来週もまた配信ができるように1週間頑張ってこようと思います。ではでは、バイバイ。